Welcome back. Today, we are unpacking something absolutely fascinating in this explainer. We're going to plunge right into a seemingly simple child's game. Wait, a child's game? Yeah, to uncover the really profound underlying secrets of digital problem solving. We're looking at a curriculum called Mastering the Art of AI Inquiry, Meet Sparky. Now I know, it sounds super basic, right? But the architecture behind how we teach a child to talk to a machine, it actually reveals exactly how you and I need to structure our own digital interactions to get the best results. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. So I want to start by asking you a direct question. Literally the exact interactive question these students are asked right out of the gate in the Help Sparky Sort game. And that question is, what happens first? Seriously, think about that for a second. When you're sitting there staring at a blank search bar or a fresh AI prompt, what is the very first action that sets the whole shebang in motion? This isn't just some rhetorical question, guys. It is literally the foundation of all digital interaction. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Meet Sparky the AI.
So Sparky is this friendly little AI character, and the entire goal of this exercise is to teach kids the fundamental process of inquiry. How? By breaking digital interaction down into two incredibly clear sequential steps. Step 1, you ask a smart question. Step 2, Sparky gives you a helpful answer. Notice what's happening here. The child has to initiate the action. The AI doesn't just, spontaneously offer solutions out of thin air. It requires the user, the kid, to actually trigger the interaction with a smart question. This teaches agency. The user is entirely in the driver's seat, setting the whole process into motion.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is Section 2, the cause and effect. We're transitioning here from a simple game mechanic to actual, hardcore educational theory. This cause and effect relationship states that a user's question must always precede a helpful response. It's a simple binary rule, but it is the absolute core of interacting with any AI character. Think about it. You have the cause, the user's prompt, and the effect, the AI's output. The curriculum specifically zooms in on this relationship to clarify for young minds that without your initial input, that helpful response, it simply cannot exist. It's a guaranteed sequence they absolutely have to learn to master. In fact, the curriculum speaker notes put it perfectly. To get help, we must ask. It hits the nail right on the head. The absolute crucial point here is that taking the initiative is the mandatory first step. It reinforces to children that yes, if we ask, then Sparky can answer us, but the asking is a strict prerequisite. It builds this incredible mindset where seeking help or information is an active, deliberate choice rather than just some passive expectation where you wait for the machine to do the work for you. Moving right along to Section 3, Visualizing Clear Communication, because clear communication is the universal starting point for gaining any information. So how exactly do you explain a totally abstract idea like clear communication to a really young child? Well, the curriculum uses a highly concrete visual aid. Bubble 1 shows a child thinking, which represents the user's question. Then Bubble 2 shows Sparky speaking, representing the helpful response. But the most important part of this visual isn't just the two bubbles themselves, it's actually the arrows showing the flow from 1 to 2. Those arrows physically demonstrate the required direction of communication. It moves from the user's mind outward to the AI, and only then does the AI generate an output. It's basically a one-way street to start. And this brings us to the formal pedagogical goal behind all of this, the process of inquiry. It's defined here as using a structured sequence to properly initiate a dialogue and achieve a desired outcome. By using these visual steps, these students are learning a super reliable system. They learn that if they just follow this structured sequence, think, ask, receive, they can properly initiate a dialogue. And honestly, more importantly, they learn the underlying logic of how to get the specific results or desired outcomes they actually want from a digital tool. To really make this abstract concept stick in young minds, the curriculum explicitly uses a few key instructional methods. We've got interactive activities like the Help Sparky Sort game. We have very clear visual aids like the bubbles and arrows we just looked at. There are matching games to continually reinforce the correct order, and overarching all of it, a clearly defined structured sequence. Look, these aren't just random teaching tools thrown together. They are a tightly coordinated effort to completely cement the mechanics of inquiry. And this brilliantly illustrates Section 4, a foundation for problem solving. We are zooming all the way out to the macro level now. What starts out as this simple, colorful matching game with a character named Sparky, it's actually addressing a much, much larger picture regarding lifelong digital literacy.
This is literally an educational foundation for navigating digital tools. Mastering these fundamental steps of inquiry, really understanding the cause and effect, initiating a dialogue, anticipating the flow of information, it is laying the absolute groundwork. It prepares young learners not just for interacting with today's AI models, but for successfully navigating literally all future digital environments and complex problem-solving scenarios they're inevitably going to encounter as they grow up. Which leaves us with a final, kind of provocative thought. If clear communication starts right here, what desired outcomes will these young learners achieve next? I mean, really think about the limitless problem-solving potential of an entire generation whose very first interaction with technology is grounded in a deliberate, structured sequence of smart inquiry. They aren't just learning how to use a neat tool, they are mastering the fundamental art of asking the right questions. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep asking those smart questions.